You guys, I'm going to raise a metaphorical glass for BLK Prime. Shout out BLK Prime. I don't know what your future is at the moment, but you had an interesting run. You showed us new ways to light money on fire with the Crawford fight against David Avanesian. And now you are out of the Adrien Broner business. Broner takes to social media and says he's a free agent once again. 0 fights into a 3-fight contract that he claimed would be worth 8 figures, and now Adrien Broner is on the market once again. Jake, I have no insight into why this happened. I've made no calls on it, but do you have any clue as to why the Broner-BLK Prime relationship crumbled before it even started?
Well, you're raising a glass. I'm going to spill one out in death of BLK Prime. I'm pretty sure they're out of the business at this point. I have heard that they are most likely going to fold up shop. Maybe I'm dead wrong on that. I'm fine if I am, but I just, I think they did try with good intention to go forward with this event. It just obviously didn't happen for a variety of reasons. I can't recall like so many opponents pulling out within such a short time frame, or not being available. It was a horrible mix from the start. I think they thought that with Broner, like it would kind of catch fire, but it just didn't. Ticket sales were horrible, even if that fight happened. So I just don't know what's next for Broner. The apology tour is very noticeable. Maybe he somehow works his way back with PBC, that they find a fight for him. They'll find opportunities for him. But yeah, it always seems to go that way. He talks junk, he gets a fight, the fight doesn't happen, he talks more junk, and then it's I don't know if it's a love-hate relationship. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm sure we'll see Broner in the ring at some point. I know they keep talking about him fighting possibly Conor Ben. It just feels like some type of circus atmosphere. He's talking about he wants to fight Regis Prograis. That's
okay.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see Adrien Broner in a meaningful fight ever again. I mean, it'll be a fight that'll catch attention, but something on the title level, I just don't see it happening.
Corey, I know you are preparing a oral history on BLK Prime. What are your thoughts on the end of BLK Prime?
My glass is empty, so I can neither toast nor pour one out, and I suspect that that's the reason why BLK Prime is coming to his demise. When you Google search the offices of BLK Prime, they did not look like the location of a company that could fund regular multi-million-dollar boxing events. So that's one thing. But when it comes to Adrien Broner, listen, I just hope that Adrien Broner's okay. Obviously this is a man who is deeply troubled, has been going through substance abuse issues, things outside of the ring. Clearly, his interviews are drastically different kind of day after day. And I just hope that he's all right. And I hope that there is still someone in his life and professionally that is going to look out for him. But he continues to be compelling enough, amusing enough to people, and obviously talented enough to continue to get opportunities. So whether he's in like a big fight again, I don't know. But yeah, I could see him facing Conor Ben. Because there are going to be a lot of people that don't want to face Conor Ben for the reasons that we all understand. But Broner, as someone that doesn't have a ton of options right now, or at least needs to create them, might be the type of fighter that would jump at something like that. It would make a fight for Conor Ben interesting to some. So I could see something like that happening. There will be opportunities for Adrien Broner. But for me, that's just secondary to just hoping that this isn't a sport that does more harm to him than good.
Yeah, I'm with you on hoping it works out for Adrien Broner on a personal level. I remember I went to his camp years ago before the Maidana fight in Colorado Springs and spent a few days kind of learning his story from the people around him. And he's really overcome a lot to get to this point. It's, you hope that he can get some semblance of a career back on track. That's number one. I do want to keep it light, though, for a moment. Like in boxing, we have seen some creative ways to just flush money down the toilet. Like, just burn it. Like, whatever PBC did with all that Waddell and Reed money. Eddie Hearn going out there and signing, like, Tevin Farmer to multi-million-dollar deals of the guys that he was putting on from 2018 up until 2020. Like, boxing just gives you example after example of what it means to see money disappear in real time. BLK Prime might, at least in the short run, might take the cake. I mean, guaranteeing Terrence Crawford $10 million for a fight that probably did, like, I've heard anywhere from $25,000 or less, for that pay-per-view. guaranteeing him all that much money, then giving Broner a deal. Then, I believe, Jake, you were the first one to post this. Like, whoever was on Facebook, like, asking for an opponent to fight Adrien Broner, and by the way, offering $175,000. Yes. That's real money. Like, that's legitimate money to be an opponent for Adrien Broner. I'm almost shocked that nobody was able to take it at this point. This was an incredible run. Like we need to call Ed Brophy at Canastota and like get BLK Prime somewhere in the Hall of Fame. Like, just get them somewhere. On Broner, I do think a Ben fight, I'm with you guys, makes sense. Ben's gonna get back in the ring at some point. He's not vindicated. He's not, anything because of what the WB said. In fact, he's actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's like disputing the WBC's findings. He said it wasn't eggs, it was bad testing, which is, always that old chestnut of bad testing. But he knows, and Eddie Hearn knows, the British Boxing Board of Control is not going to fold the same way the WBC did. Like, he's not going to get licensed anytime soon. But he can go over to the Middle East, and the Middle East is where some money is. They might have enough money to pay Adrien Broner. And look, a Ben fight, quite frankly, I don't know if it's winnable for Adrien Broner, but it's the most winnable high-profile fight that's going to be out there. Conor Ben's got power, but Adrien Broner's got a great chin. And Broner's going to have an experience advantage. He can do some things in the ring. If he's right, and we don't know about that, but if he's right, Jake, that's the fight he can win. Like, and if he wins that fight, that's an easy way to get your career back on track. It'll be at 147, a weight that Broner is now probably officially at the moment forever. But that to me is if Broner can find a way to swallow his pride and realize you're not going to get like $4 million to do it, he should run towards that fight if at all possible.
No, I agree 100%. I've always said too, he's not going to allow himself to be like a stepping stone for prospects or guys who don't have any kind of profile whatsoever. And to Corey's point, like, you want to, know that the guy is going to be happy. I mean, he had to pull out of the Omar Figueroa fight. He cited mental health issues. I mean, we know they're very real with him. So he seemed like he was a lot happier going into this camp. He looked like he was at least in shape, had the fight happen. So I'm not going to say the dedication is there and he's going to stay on course. But a fight like this, I think, would really get him going. It would probably have, I know Eddie has the deal in Abu Dhabi, the championship series or whatever. So that's going to be probably Conor Ben's, home base up until he can get licensed anywhere else in the world. So there's real money there for Broner. I mean, he doesn't have to sit around and, chase, Facebook fights or whatever. So I think Adrien Broner could push it all in for that one. I don't know where it would lead to, but it's good enough to get him to the next step in his career. So it's a real payday. He doesn't have to go and fight like some 19-0 hungry prospect that just wants to use his name.
And this is, by the way, this is why he still has options, because even three people like us were on here, and we started off kind of jovial, and then we were like, but if he puts it all together, maybe he can win this fight, right? Because we've seen the Adrien Broner of 10 years ago, like, we've seen that electric talent. And so I think we tend to do this with these kind of embattled but extremely talented athletes. Just merely that conversation leading up to their next fight, their next performance, is always enough curiosity to hook you, right? And he is always going to have that. So there will always be opportunities for him. And you're right, Jake. I think that he understandably thinks too highly of himself to ever allow himself to go that other path. He always needs to, if not be the A side, then the de facto A side. And there will still be opportunities for that. They're still out there.
Absolutely. I just want to know who's going to be the BLK Prime of 2023. Like, who's coming in the second half of this year with bold plans to take over boxing? Who's coming in with Marv Nation money? Who's coming in with BLK Prime money? Excuse me. Who's going to win that next purse bid? Triller money? Like, who's going to come in? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Why does nobody in boxing realize this? Why is this so hard to wrap your head around? That just pumping money in to one A-side-ish fighter is not going to work. It's not going to work. You've got to be competitive. You got to put on consistent events. Oh, it's almost like we're like in the mayor of Crazy Town here sometimes with boxing.
Listen, I don't know who it's going to be, but whoever it is, my agent is Debbie Spander. You need someone to call this fight.
Oh, for the love of God. Oh, Corey will call something in Kazakhstan. Yes. Sure, I'll fly right over there.